I want to spend a couple of minutes and talk about something that everybody is craving, and it's something that is the most misunderstood in our common thinking and mental understanding. We live, if you're from the West, we live in a very capitalistic driven society where although it has its advantages, where we exchange services and products for money, and it's given birth to a lot of innovation and invention, it has simultaneously enslaved its people in striving for better, striving for more money, striving for promotion. And this level of exchange has led to a lot of misery, a lot of sickness, a lot of dissatisfaction, which has really plagued society as a whole. Everything is now for profit, everything is for money. Even our government structure has become corrupt because you don't know who's lobbying and what's behind it, the corporations and the banking system and everything else. So even what the politicians feed you remains to be questioned. And so we've evolved really into the dark side of capitalism, the darkest, sinister realms of capitalism is now, and that was really brought in by the Industrial Revolution after the wars, in terms of rebuilding Europe and the West. And that rebuilding, we have really swung the pendulum in its opposing side. And what is really the undertone and overtone for what is happening across our world, regardless of which quarter of the world you're from, is power. Everybody is starved for power and everybody is seeking power. In our everyday lives, we human beings trying to survive in this insane world, we seek money and we seek fame and we seek fortune and we seek opportunities, and all of this comes from the desire to attain power, whether that's a sovereign power of the state, driven by the state, royalties, queens, kings and the government, or whether it is done from a corporate level that seeks more profitability, more influence, more rigor, is power, or whether it's within our own personal lives, striving for the best. We strive it in a means to attain power, but we get confused with that and we think we're searching for money, and we want money, or we want fame, or we want that lover. But ultimately, the only thing that is prevalent in all of our lives is that quest for power. How that manifests, that quest, is dependent on your value drivers, on your cultural influences, on your family influences, how you seek to anchor in power is a personal choice. But again, those personal choices can be very much clouded by ego. And we see a lot of corruption from the grassroots up to the top level because of this quest and this thirst and this prevalent hunger and need for power. And it's endless, because since the beginning of time and the beginning of civilization, we have always quested for power. This is why wars and conquests and dominations happen. They all stem from power. But we're in a new age at the moment. We're in an age of information and an age of data, and a new commodity is data. we individuals by corporations are no longer regarded as individuals. We are walking, talking, expressing commodities. And how that is packaged is in terms of data. Because everything you do, everything you purchase, everything that you consume, every behavior can be analyzed and sold. And it is by the gods of Silicon Valley. It is. And I think it's becoming aware of all these power dynamics within society that is infiltrating us, that is consuming us, and where we're really headed really over the next, where humanity as a whole, the 7 billion humans on this earth, are headed over the next generation. Are we headed towards a dark and sinister place? Or are we headed towards, more empowerment, more freedom, more liberation? I don't think we're in a position to be able to preempt it. I like to think that we're going to be free and powerful creatures within our sovereign rights, birthrights. But we are at a crossroads at the moment. And this crossroad requires participation and awakening and activation of every human, every individual from this hypnotic trance that is laid upon us through patriarchal systems, through capitalism, through family and society and institutions that we have been subjected to and are continuously beaming subliminal messaging to us through social media platforms, through every avenue of marketing and PR and religious doctrines. Every aspect of life is beaming all these programs at us to a point where we reach a place of absolute powerlessness because we get our blinkers on and we don't know what we're searching. We don't know what is our purpose. We don't know why we're here. We don't know what we are to give. And we can't understand why we are so miserable. And I think it's becoming an epidemic in all societies where people are just lost and confused and bewildered at what it is that they're searching for and why they're searching for it. We've all lost a sense of purpose to an extent, and it is totally understandable why that would be the case. But because there is no gap for breath, there is no gap for silence, there's no gap for being in stillness, because of all these constant interactive modalities that we have at our fingertips, and we've become an addicted society to consuming external literature and external validations. Everything has become about the external world, and we have lost that connection between us and a sense of soul and our sense of inner world that Google has become. Why do I feel this? We Google it rather than just go inward and find out and inquire from our sense of soul, intuition, inner being, our emotions, our thoughts, what it is that we're being led to uncover and understand. And until we reach the point where we're able to go inwards and reflect within the depths of our own soul what it is that our destiny is, what it is that our purpose is, what it is that our body is trying to tell us, our emotions, our thoughts, and learn to align these energies, these waves of emotions, these discharges of thought, until we have the tools to be able to work through those and release and surrender and work through and transform the layers upon layers of trauma that has been instilled within us through news propagandas, through society, through the government, through all these plays that happens around us, until we are able to quieten them and go within and seek that information within, that we're really headed towards a destructive path of addiction, reliance, and of offering willingly, without really knowing what we're doing, our own power to these institutions and to the force of capitalism, really. And so what I wish, really, as I look forward into the next 100 years, and for the generation of my daughter and possibly my grandchildren, I have really a deepest wish is that for every individual to really become aware of their own sense of beauty, magnificence, energy, dynamism, potential. And the only way to get to that point is if we are willing to take the blinkers off, if we are willing to awaken to our truth, if we're willing to walk through that resistance that the mind puts in your place, and to be able to really evoke the soul that is so much wanting to come through and shine and integrate with you, all parts of you. And I know that I'm speaking of abstract terms. These don't have to be abstract at all. I have a raft of absolutely free resource available on my website, tools and techniques that you can easily download, but it requires commitment, and it requires you walking through that level of resistance to be able to really feel the magnificence of who you are through using these techniques and tools. The awakening process, once you start to activate that, there's no return, there's no going back, there's only going forward. And that's the beauty of it, that it will unfold for you layer by layer, day by day, minute by minute. And so this is an invitation, really, for all you amazing, beautiful people who are willing to awaken your full potential and to take the blinkers off, walk through that wall of resistance of the mental construct, and really, really begin to alter the course of your life and of humanity. There's 7 billion people in this world that requires awakening, and it's every single person's responsibility to do their best for our amazing, beautiful world and civilization to survive and thrive beyond survival. And for us to really retain our sense of power that we have been taught to give away for millennia. But the only way we can do that collectively is if we individually step into our most magnificent, powerful selves and evoke what is potential within our individual lives. And so with that, I send you my biggest blessings. Do visit the website. It's www.goldeninnervision.com. Free resources there. Download it, work on it, and if you need more support or guidance, by all means do contact me, and I'll be more than happy to help you and guide you through those processes if you need the guidance. And if not, have fun with the process and play. Most importantly, play with your life, and make sure that you are feeling joyful in doing those amazing processes that have so much power within them when you are open and non-resistant to them. All my blessings.